So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a basic cold connection using an LED light and a battery pack of wires and a switch. And these are just some examples. This is really basic. These are earrings that I made for a Meow Wolf show I went to, and I just drew out the design and made these with 3D pen. And the circuitry is just really basic. The battery is just directly connected to the LEDs because I needed it to be small. But you could do something like this with a battery pack and a switch, which I'll go over in a second. And then this one, I created this for a project I was doing with students for Chinese lanterns, and this just has a 9-volt battery connected to it to light it up, and I had it on this post, this dowel, because they needed some structure, and it just fit right in. Okay. So when you are making a circuit, really depends on what you're doing. This is an LED, and it's very basic. This is a smaller one. This is a color changing one. When you are using these, it's important to know the anode and the cathode. Now, the anode is the longer one right here. That's the positive. The cathode is the negative, which is the shorter one. And so it's important to know that, because when you are making your connection, you need to know which is positive and which is negative. So this is a little button battery. This is a 3-volt battery. These are 3-volt LED lights. The one thing that I would recommend you do always with your batteries is just test them out to make sure that they're good. I did buy a batch one time where they weren't good batteries. So the long end, again, the anode goes to the positive, and the negative goes to the negative, which is on the back. And you can just do that and test it out, and to see also to see how strong the battery is if it's an older battery that you have. So you want to do that first. There are different kinds of ways to connect these. Now you can have, this is for a 9-volt, and again this is a AA connector, and the switch is right here. If you look, the switch is right here. So it's just a basic, it's really basic, it's really, really simple. And then this one that we're going to attach today is for the button battery. So we're going to start off with this one, and I'm going to put the battery in there, making sure I put it in correctly, positive up, press it down in, and then snap it in there. Okay. And then you can look for the on and off. That's off, so I want to turn it on. I want to make sure it's working. Now there's different kinds of wire strippers. Okay, this is more old school than what I'm used to, and then they have ones that have many more features, like this one right here. So this one, there's a hole right there. You would just stick it in, the wire in, and let go, and then the tension will hold onto it, and you pull and strip it out. This one, it shows the different gauges on it. I'm going to the 18, and you can just kind of, put the wire in there and see what it is. So I want to give myself some space to wrap to make this connection. So do you see how it stripped the sheathing off? For a cold connection, it's not a permanent thing necessarily. Maybe you don't have a lot of materials and you want to reuse stuff. So this is a great way to just, first of all, learn how to do circuitry, but also if you don't have access to soldering kit, or you don't know how to solder, this is a quick way to do this for costumes or whatever you're making. So I have my battery, I have my positive and negative wires to connect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the LED, and again, the positive is the longer one, so you want to connect the positive to the red. And what I would do is just kind of open this up a little bit and wrap the wire around. So I'm going to wrap this around. And again, this is why I gave myself a little bit of space here, and then kind of get it on there tight. Now, you can use different types of tape. Obviously, if you wanted to use electrical tape, you could. I like gaffer tape. personally, just because I like the feel of it and how it sticks. So that is what I'm going to use to connect this. So I'm going to start at the top, just basically taping it on there. Okay, let's get it wrapped around. And as I stated, this is really if you do not have access to soldering kits or anything like that, and for temporary use, and if you want to take stuff apart easily and reuse it for something else. Okay, so we have one side taped. Now I'm going to wrap the other side as well. Okay. And just tape that on as well. And I'm going to turn this off for 1 second. All right, so you wrap them on like that, and then turn the switch just to check. Okay, so that's kind of like a basic cold connection with a button battery to an LED light. So you could put this like in a costume or something. Now, if you wanted to add more LED lights, you definitely could. I would recommend using, since this is 3 volts, and then you have a 9-volt battery, you could use 3 LED lights if you wanted to make more lights or brighter, and you could actually even expand on that as well. So let's connect a motor to a battery. So I'm using a 9-volt battery with this motor, and I've already stripped the sheathing off this wire. So the positive is on this side, and you can always just test it out to make sure before you secure it. And again, this is a cold connection, so this is not meant to be, this isn't necessarily permanent, and this is kind of for people who maybe don't have access to soldering iron and whatnot. Okay, so positive to positive, negative to negative, connect that up. And before I tape it, I'm just going to test it with the battery here. Yep, that's correct. And I realize this is not the prettiest thing in the world, but it works for you if you don't have access to a soldering iron, or if you're wanting to make something temporary. One thing I will say is that you do want to be careful that you're not crossing your lines. If you're crossing your lines or taping straight across or something like that, it's not going to work. Okay, so let's test it out one more time. Yep. So now I can put whatever it is that you're wanting to put on there, whether it's a fan or if you have some other moving part. And so that is how you connect your motor. And a lot of times they come with this little piece right here that you can fit onto it. You can slide onto it, and then if you see there's a hole there, that way you can like connect it so the motor is secure. If you have a 3D pen or 3D printer, you could always print something yourself as well. So those are just 2 different connections. There's an LED and a motor. And again, you have different types of LEDs. The batteries are that you can use. There's other batteries too, but AA, 9-volt, 3-volt. The main thing to keep in mind is you do have to match your voltage up with your LED light or your motor, and you would not want to use a 9-volt on a 3-volt LED because you'll fry it. So just keep that in mind. But you could add more LED lights to add up to the 9 volts. So it's just a little bit of basic math. So hopefully that helps you be able to do just a basic connection with circuitry.